Hello, hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good day, whatever time you are joining us live on. I am Heather Clark, your host of Declutter for Change Live. And today we are actually talking about simplifying your mind, taming the mental clutter. All right. So, obviously, we all have it. There is not a chance that if you are a human being, that you don't have some sort of mental clutter, one way or the other. Whether it is overthinking, whether it is, thinking about a situation, thinking about the past, thinking about the future, having all that thing, and then all that mental clutter allows for the body to react as well. So I don't know if you guys, thinking about the mental clutter of the past is associated with depression. Thinking about having that extreme mental clutter about the future causes anxiety, causes, breath to be taken away, or having anxiety in the sense of your stomach gets all knotted and you get sick, or you feel nauseous, or you're feeling overwhelmed in the sense of you start manifesting into physical form of what these mental parts, and it all boils down to the mental clutter that we have. All of it, the physical part, the whatever, it's what goes up in here that causes a lot of the emotions. So when we think about something so much, when we continually have a thought or have whatever, it causes a feeling inside us, and that feeling also manifests itself into physical form. So we can get sick, we can get nauseous and throw up, or we can our bowels don't work so well and stuff like that, in that sense, because of the fact of all that mental clutter. So what are we going to do about the mental clutter? Well, we're going to find ways to clear it out, and simple, easy. And I know everyone's like, oh, well, yeah, I've heard about this before, but how often do you do it? And it's called, the biggest one I do is a brain dump or mind dump, or however you want to state it. What it is you are going to schedule in time, and you are going to sit down, pen to paper. I always say pen to paper, because it just, there's just that connection when you have, or pencil to paper or marker to paper, but it's that connection to the actual paper part that gets it flowing and gets it going. And I prefer the pen to paper, absolutely. Obviously, I'm not saying that's the only way. If you have to, or if you want to, or if you choose to, and you're more of a technical person, you'd rather type it out, then that is also fine. Grab a, Google Docs or whatever, open up a Google Docs and just start typing it out, or even start speaking it out if you want to do it that way as well. That's also another way. I'm not saying only do pen to paper. I'm saying the best part about it is just getting the actual thoughts, anything, and I mean any and everything that you have up in your mind in that moment that you're sitting down to do it. And this is why I say schedule it, because this is going to be a point where you're going to take probably an hour, maybe two. And when you think you're done, half an hour later, you're like, oh, and then you go and write that back down. And then another hour later, or the next day, or the next week. And it's a continuation of getting things out of your mind so you can see it on paper and you can see everything and go, okay, now what? Now what I'm thinking, now what do I do with this mind dump that I've got? So I'm talking you're dumping things out. Let's say you got caught off. You got caught off this morning at going to work and stuff like that, and that's still on your brain. You're going to write that down. I got cut off by this person, blah, 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 et cetera, and this is whatever. Then if you're saying my partner and I got into a fight and I'm still upset about it. I have to pay this bill and I really don't know why I'm procrastinating. Grocery list. Even if you have a grocery list up in your brain, throw that down on the piece of paper. Any and every thought that is in your mind as you're doing this exercise goes down on that paper, goes onto that documentation. Like I said, this could take an hour. It could take 2. And then after those 2 hours, I would definitely say, let's cut it off at 2 hours, because that's good amount. And then what you're going to do with that sheet or those multiple pieces of paper of mind dumps is you're going to go back, you're going to take a break, you're going to walk away, take a break for a second. Just allow yourself to just go, okay, great. I got everything I needed down. It's funny how this came up and that came up. I didn't even think that was on my mind. I didn't understand, because when you start taking things out of your mind and put it on paper, more things can come to the surface. More subconscious things come through that you don't even realize were on your mind at the moment. But guess what? Your subconscious mind is causing those reactions. You may not understand why is this anxiety? Like, I'm not even thinking about anything. I'm drinking my coffee. But subconsciously, there was something that triggered something that you were thinking about, or that is on your subconscious mind, that causes that anxiety. Then all of a sudden, boom. Oh, I think it's because of this. I have to pay this bill. But really, is it the bill that's causing that anxiety? Or is it the underlining of what that bill, like paying that bill, means? Does it mean that you're emptying your bank account? Does it mean that you're feeling sad because no, great, now I have to pay this bill. This bill wasn't supposed to be what. There's just so many things that come through once we put it down onto paper. And then those thoughts come back, and then you just continue to put those thoughts down. So after you've done that, like I said, take that break. After that break, you're going to come back. And what you're going to do is you're going to look at the entire list and go through the entire thing and cross off, just cross right off anything that you cannot change. And these are things like the example I gave earlier. You got cut off this morning. Can you change that outcome? No. So you're going to cross that off. I said something mean to my child, my partner, my friend. Can you change what happened? No. But after you do something like that, what is there that you can change? Well, you can, and you're going to put a little note beside it saying, I can apologize. And you're going to leave that. You're not going to cross it off. You're not going to do anything with that yet. Then you just go through your whole entire list and cross off things you cannot change. You can't, let's say you're still upset about, a pet dying. You can't change that the pet has died. That has happened. That is in the past, that it has happened. You can't change it. So you're going to cross it off. But what can you do? Oh, I can put up a picture. So you can put a little note beside that saying, I can honor this dog or this cat or this hamster, guinea pig, lizard, whatever. And I can put a picture of what my favorite picture of them. And I haven't actually done that. So you're going to put that down, because that's probably what's going to come through is when you're crossing things off, you're also going to be like, oh, but I can do this. Okay. So you're going to put a little note. Not doing anything with that note yet. And then again, going through, you could have, a list of like 200 items. You're going to go through all 200 items. And let's say the ones you cannot change, there's about 100 things you cannot change. There is not a thing you can do about it today. But you've been able to, put a little note beside it if there was something that came up throughout. You're just like, oh, but I can do this. Okay, cool. And then the next step you're going to do is you're going to take a highlighter or a colored marker, light colored marker or whatever, or even, if you're in your Google Docs, you're going to go in and you're going to highlight in one particular color all the things you can change in the next 24 to 48 hours. So that picture that you wanted to put up of the pet that passed away, you could do that in 24 to 48 hours. It gives you time to go print off the picture, or if you have a printer at home, you do that. You're going to highlight that one. Can you apologize to the person that you said something mean yesterday to? Yeah. And you're going to highlight that one. Can you do the dishes? Can you empty the dishwasher in the next 24 or 48 hours? Yep. You're going to highlight that. Can I put the basket of all the stuff that I've kept putting on the stairs? Can I actually bring all that stuff up? Yep. There's something that you can do. And you're going to highlight all the ones that you can do within 24 to 48 hours. Then the next thing you're going to do is highlight in another color all the things you can change, but they're going to take more time than that 48 hours. So let's say, it's you want to get healthier, you want to lose weight, you want to, eat better, or anything like that. Those are going to take time. You can't do that within 48 hours. You can probably lose water weight within 48 hours, but you're going to take the time and you're just going to highlight those in another color. So now you've got things that are crossed off are the things you cannot change. No matter how much time you were given, you cannot change what those things are, what happened in those outcomes, anything like that. The next one is you're going to take a highlighter and you're going to take one highlighter for all the things that you can change that are possible for you to do within 24 to 48 hours. And be honest with yourself. Be honest. Can you and will you do those things within 24 to 48 hours? If not, then they go to the next highlighter. And they are all the things that you can do, that are possible for you to do, that you can change, but they just need to take more time, more than 48 hours. So that you've got two highlighter colors, one scratched off. And then after that, what you're going to do is you're going to look at those things that you said you can and are willing to do within the next 24 to 48 hours. And you're going to put them in a list of priority. You're going to put them in like, okay, what is the biggest thing what was the first thing you wrote down? Chances are that's something that's on your mind that you can do within 24 hours or 48 hours, or heck, you could probably do in the next 20 minutes. Put a list of things that you can do. And then beside that, kind of put a time of how much time you think that's going to cost, like not cost, but how much time you think it's going to take you to do that thing. And then take those things that you said you can do in the next 24 to 40 hours and do them and put them in your schedule and put a reminder on your phone. We all have one of these. Chances are you can end up putting even, each day you can tick off 3 items. And I'd say like, okay, if you're going to tell me that you do 6 items in 24 to 48 hours. So you can do the dishes, you can put that load of laundry on, you can apologize to that person, you can, read the first chapter of the book that you said, and whatever else. So you're going to put those in order. And you're going to say, okay, the dish is probably only going to take me about half an hour. Reading that book, you know what? Chances are the first chapter is probably going to take me about an hour because I'm a little bit of a slow reader. I don't really know if I'm interested in this book yet or whatever. Okay. Then printing off that picture, saying that apology. Well, that apology depends. How long are you going to take to overthink it, whatever? You're going to want to give yourself that time, but you want to give yourself that deadline of it as well, saying, hey, I do need to apologize. It was really rude of me, whatever. So I do need to apologize to this person. What am I going to say? I can do it within 24 to 40 hours because you know what? That is actually a better time because of the fact that, it was on my mind. Clearly it's taking royalty up in my brain. I need to do something about it. And once I do something about it, that's when I can go, okay, this is done. The outcome is now I apologize, whatever. How they receive it is up to them. That is no longer something for you to worry about. How they receive it is on there. If you've apologized, if you've done your thing, cool. You can now say, I have done my part. And if it becomes more of a conversation that you need to have, you know what? Say to them, listen, can we talk about this on this date at this time? Because it's something that you want to be able to put some effort. You want to, and especially if it's something that is very important, it's somebody that's very important to you, and whether it's your children or whether it's your partner or whether it's a friend or whatever, you want to put that effort into that conversation because of the fact that that is part of relationships. All of this is building relationships with people around you. So you want to schedule in that time with them and say, hey, listen, I'm really sorry that this is what I said to you. I was clearly upset. There was a lot on my mind. I'm really sorry I reacted in that way. Can we actually talk about this on Friday after you get off work and we can just, over coffee or something like that, just go out, just chat about this just so that we can clear the air a bit more for both of us so that we can both move forward on this, whatever it is. And if it's your children, say, hey, listen, you know what, especially if it's young kids or, obviously your kids are younger than you, but like, especially if it's younger kids and stuff, you want to do that as soon as possible though. Like when it's your kids and when they're young, because chances are they've already forgotten about it. Maybe if it was bad enough, they're still thinking about it and you want to clear the air for them so they're not overthinking about it, so they don't internalize it and it becomes an emotional attachment for them and for yourself. Because the longer you hang on to something like this, the longer it's going to become an emotion and the longer you're going to remember it. and especially if you're a child. And the longer that eventually, depending on what was said and how it was said, it can actually become a traumatic experience for that child. So with children, you want to get it nib it in the butt. Nib it in the bud. I don't know what that saying is. I forget what it is. But you want to get it done as soon as possible when it comes to children, especially the younger ones. So those ones, absolute within hours. I would say hours, let alone 24 hours. You want to make sure that that child knows you are sorry that you said that shouldn't have. And you know what that shows the child too? It shows that you're willing to admit when you are wrong and you are showing them how to approach these situations so that when it comes up for them when they're older, they can understand that, oh, I can apologize. I can accept this. And it doesn't make me a bad person because I did this. What kids will see is if you don't apologize or you don't take on accountability for your own actions, they see it as I'm the bad person. They're going to internalize it. And then that's going to become something that they will forever hold within their own body, their own mind, and their own soul, that they are the reason, that they're the problem, that they are the issue here. Whereas, no, it could have been just the fact that you hadn't eaten that day. So you were hangry and you had a short fuse and you said something that you shouldn't have to the child. So those are the things that you want to get done ASAP. Okay. And then after you've done those 24 to 48 hours, what you're going to do is you're going to go back into your list a couple days later. So you're going to take that break and you've already done all those things that you said you could do within the 24 to 48 hours. And you come back to it. And you're going to look at the things that you highlighted in that second color, saying that I needed more time to figure this stuff out. I needed more time to change these things. And you're going to schedule into your calendar time for each of those major things. So let's say you said you wanted to drink more water, you wanted to whatever. Okay, you can drink more water within 24 to 48 hours, but you want to make a habit of it. That's going to take more than 48 hours. So that can be combined with, oh, I want better eating habits. Okay, cool. That's combination. So that goes under health. So what are you going to do? And how are you going to schedule in so that you know that that's going to become a habit? Well, you're going to sit down and you're going to be like, okay, when can I make sure that I'm eating healthy? Oh, chances are when things are pre-prepped. 9 times out of 10, if I've already cut up vegetables, cut up fruit, cut up all that stuff, and I just put it in the container in the fridge, I know that when I'm hungry or when I'm like, oh, I just need something to snack on, I open the fridge, oh, it's already there. It's already done. I don't have to think of, well, I have to cut this, I have to wash, I have to do this. You've already done that. So what you're going to do is you're going to pre-plan for that. So you're going to put in your schedule that, first of all, have you done the grocery shopping for it? So let's say grocery shopping, then you're going to prep it, then you're going to make it into the containers, and you're going to put it in the fridge and you're going to put dates or whatever the case may be. So that's going to take time. So you want to schedule that in. So let's say, today is Wednesday. You're going to say, okay, this coming Saturday, I'm going to wake up and I'm going to go and make sure that I have my list of healthy snacks that I want for this next week or next few days, however many days you do in advance. I'm going to write them down. And then I'm going to make a schedule and I'm going to take that time, that extra hour out of that day on Saturday or Sunday or whatever day you're doing it, but I'm just using Saturday as an example. And I'm going to take that extra hour. I'm going to make sure that all my vegetables and fruits are washed. I'm going to make sure they're all cut, prepped, and put in containers properly so that they can stay freshest for longest, but they're also going to be pre-prepped because come Monday, I know I'm back at work. I know that I'm not going to have the mental capacity at that point when I'm trying to get something done for work to just go in and be like, oh, I'll just take this extra 20, 30 minutes of my lunch and prep all this stuff. No, that's why you want to do it in advance, put it into your schedule, make sure it's done. Then that also helps you with that I want to eat healthier. Because what do we do when nothing's prepped, but, oh, there's a chocolate bar that's easy. It's something quick, easy, blah, 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 and you open it up and you eat that. Well, that's not healthy. But those carrot sticks or the celery sticks or that little bit of like pre-prep salad and all you have to do is put the dressing in, that's healthier. And that was already done. So now you've already started your habit and you've already started your the thing that you said you could change, because you are going to change it when you do these steps. You are going to change those healthy habits when you schedule in these times to actually plan out how are you going to change it. Because it's great that we want to change, but how are you going to change it? Well, you're going to change it by making sure that everything's prepped. You're going to change it by going to the grocery store and buying the healthy stuff. You're going to go to the grocery store not on an empty stomach, because I can tell you from experience, going grocery shopping on an empty stomach makes you buy things that you never would have bought had you had a full stomach, because you're thinking, ooh, this is a great snack. This is quick. This is whatever. And then you get home and you're like, why did I buy this? Oh, right. I was hungry. I shouldn't have done that. But those are the things that those are the habits you're trying to create. And let's say your habit again is, let's say another one was, your finances. That was the other one, is you want to have better finances. Well, schedule in time to look at your finances, to go into your bank and say, hey, how do I spend my money? If I want to change this, what do I need to change? Because if you don't even know what needs to change, but you just know it needs to change because there's too much month at the end of the money, then you need to look at it and go, okay, where am I spending my money? And if you don't know where you're spending money, you can't change anything. So go back, do an audit of your own finances, go through your bank statements, your credit card statements, if you've got one or anything like that, and say, where am I spending my money? Am I spending my money more when I have cash? Or am I spending my money more when I just have a card that it's easy to tap and do all that stuff? Look at where you're spending your money. Look at how you're spending your money and how easier, like how much, which one do you spend money faster and not even realize? And then go and take the time and schedule in to do this audit on your finances, on your bank account, on your whatever. And then also doing a budget, making sure that, okay, this is what I have coming in. This is what I need going out for the necessities. Take those off right away. Obviously, there's definitely go online. There's Google, there's budgeting. I am not one that is good for budgeting advice or anything like that, or financial advice. I am definitely not a financial advisor in any way, shape, or form. So I would suggest going and searching, or going and find somebody who is. Find that person, find that, coach or whatever that that you've been following, or whatever the case may be, because you knew that this was something you wanted to change, then you can change. You can't change the money that's been spent. That is not something you can change. So if that's on your mind, oh, I shouldn't have bought that, I shouldn't have whatever. If you can return it, fine, that's something you can change. But if it is not returnable, it's not whatever, that is something that you cross off of your list. Even if it becomes a thought that you have to write down again, you cross it off, because you can't change what you've spent. What you can do is take what you currently have today and what is coming in the future and spend that and budget that properly. Those are the things you can change. And you want to look at those things. And again, like I said, whether it's health, whether it's relationships, whether it's your finances, whether it's decluttering your house, you can change these things. These are the things you can change. You can't change what has happened in the past. The only thing you can change about that is the way you approach it, or think about it, or move forward with it. So I got in a fight with a friend. You can't change that fight already happened. It's done. As of the day that you're doing your brain dump or mind dump or whatever you want to call it, you can't change that it happened. But what you can do is change how you're going to move forward with it. Are you going to continue to let these feelings and this resentment or whatever, because, oh, well, he said, she said, this, and this about me. Okay. Or can you take accountability for all of your own actions? Because you can't take accountability for their actions. Their actions, that is not something you can change. You cannot change their thoughts about you. You cannot change anything. So if those are things, oh, well, she thinks I'm this, cross it off. You cannot change how they think about you. You can only change how you think about you, or how you think and how you feel about the situation. So again, going back to this friend, you and your friend got into a fight, or got into a little argument or whatever, like something was said that, upset you, or you upset them, and it caused more chaos than it needed to. What can you do in the next 24 to 40 hours, or just over 40 hours, to change the outcome, to make it better for both parties, for all parties involved? because you know that if you and that friend got into a tiff of some sort, it's not just you and the friend that got affected. It's probably, you're bringing that emotional, because the thoughts of it, the whole thing caused an emotional reaction. That emotional reaction is causing you to be more short-tempered, more short-fused, and now you're, yelling at your kids, or, you're upset with your partner, and it's not because of what the partner and the kids are doing. It's because of the feelings and the thoughts and everything, and the mind clutter and the emotional clutter that you carried over from that incident. You can't change the incident that happened, but you can change how you move forward, and you can bring to light those thoughts that you've been having since that incident. And even if you want, on your mind dump, putting, big, okay, here's something that's going on with work. And then you go on and have that. Here's stuff that's going on with my family. And then you put all that. If you want to put it in categories, even, there's also that too. That's also huge, because then it gets the brain going. And then there's also online. I know there's so many prompts online. And I was thinking of doing one, but honestly, there's just so many that you can just go online and just get prompts like, um, just ideas of getting it out of your head, like just giving you, like I said, work, what's going on with work. Okay, specifically my boss, specifically my coworkers, specifically maybe I am the boss. Okay, what's going on? Do I need new hires? Are these things that are on your mind? Write them all down. What can you change and what can't you change? If you cannot change the outcome of it at all, you cross it off. And if there is a way, like I said earlier, where somebody cut you off, you can't change that they cut you off, but you can change, and you're going to put a little note, you can change your reaction to it. You can change and forgive yourself for reacting the way you did. Maybe you freaked out and swore and, flipped them off and got all upset, and then that ruined the rest of your day. Well, now you're not going to let it ruin the rest of your week or the rest of your day today. You're going to just cross it off because you can't change it. Understand that, okay, this happened. We're done. This is no longer part of my life. I need to clear it out, get it off my mind, and now crossing it off, or even strike out if you're doing a Google Docs. And these are the things that you need to do on a regular basis. And I'm not talking like every day you want to do this, but there are times where a thought comes up. And you know what? And here's what I want you also to look at too. So let's say today you're doing the brain dump or the mind dump or whatever, and you've done it all. You did your 2 hours of it and you figured it out. Okay, things I can't change, all that stuff. And then tomorrow you have a thought again. Go look back and see if you've already had that thought. See what you said about that thought yesterday when you did the mind dump, or last week when the mind dump was done, or the last month is that same thought coming up? And you told yourself, I cannot change this, but it's still coming up. So what is the underlining of that thought? And why is your subconscious still hanging on to it? And chances are, and this is where I'm going to put a big, big, big thing on, chances are it's because you put an emotional attachment to that thought, because that thought kept coming up over and over and over again. So why are you so emotional to that action, to that situation, to that thought that keeps coming up? What is the underlining reason for that thought? And I'm going to say a lot of it has to do, and we're going to go into this, but it has to do with childhood. Look into that. And again, I'm not an expert in this. I just going based on a lot of my own experience as to when thoughts kept coming up. And I'm like, what the heck? And I realize, and when I have an emotional reaction, that's when I'm like, why did I have that emotional reaction? What is that all about? And usually, like, the reason why I keep going down, you can't see, but I keep going down to like my stomach or my belly or whatever, is because that's where we find out that the thought we have is causing. So usually it's in like, your heart, your stomach, your gut. Those are the main areas as to when it's become an emotional thought, because you feel it in those spots. Or some people get goosebumps, or some people get like just a physical reaction because that thought has reminded their body, because your body's going to remember a lot more than your brain's going to. And it remembers, and it will react and give you a physical indication that that has become a subconscious and emotional trigger for you. I hate the fact that I just use the word trigger, but it is. That's exactly what it is. It's an emotional indication that that needs to be looked in further. That whatever that thought was, whatever that whatever, and how you reacted to it. So if you're writing things down and all of a sudden that's a reaction you got, put a big star beside that. Don't go into it yet because you just want to dump everything down. But if when you thought about that, you were almost in tears thinking about it, or your stomach was like, "Ugh," like it just you just have this like weird knot in your stomach or anything like that, do a little star beside that. Because chances are when you look back in a month from now and you're like, oh, and you have a thought and you're like, wait, did I not just have, and it has a star beside it already because of the reaction you had it when you were, that's something you really want to look into. Like I am going to say that is that is not just mental, that is emotional clutter and that is spiritual clutter. And I kid you not, that becomes physical clutter. And that might be the reason why you can't eat healthy. I'm not saying this for sure. I'm not saying, oh yeah, absolutely. This is an epidemic and whatever. All it takes is you to clear out the mental clutter and you'll lose all the weight. No, but it could be a reason because you're just emotionally wrapped in something. So there's emotional eaters because you had that thought caused that reaction in your body and you just go, forget it. I don't care anymore. And you go and grab that chocolate bar as opposed to those carrots and celery. Or carrots and celery and hummus dip because you need some protein to fill you up too. But those are the things you want to look into. And that's one of the biggest ways and best ways I have found for myself and for anybody that I've worked with or, helped is that mind dump, understanding there are things you cannot change. You will, no matter what you do, no matter how much time you have, you cannot change the outcome of whatever just happened. So that's why those crossing off, just immediately cross those off. You cannot change them. They are in the past, they've happened, whatever, etc. Then you want to go back in. I want to go in with the highlighter and saying, okay, things I can change in the next, I say 24 to 48 hours, but even if you can do it within 24 hours, highlight it in the first color. Then you're going to go back and things that are left over, can you change those in the next week, 2 weeks or whatever, next 2 days, 3 days? And highlight those in the second color and then make sure you put it into your schedule. All these things you say you can change and you want to change. And if you don't want to change it, cross it off. If you're saying like, you know what, forget it. I don't want to change this part. Yes, it's on my mind. Yes, whatever. I can change it, but I don't want to. Cross it off. I don't want to change that. I don't even know an example that might have happened. But if you're just saying, I'm just not willing to change this, cool. Cross it off. Just know that you can change it, but you're choosing not to. And that is okay. If you're choosing not to, let's say, apologize to that friend. You can change it and you can make an apology and stuff like that, but you're choosing not to because this has happened way too often. That also gets to be a choice. And that also gets to be something that you get to do. You get to say, yes, I could do this. And I can in the next 24 to 48 hours apologize. But this has happened so often. And what they said or what I said or whatever was so hurtful to this entire relationship or friendship that, you know what? I think I'm good. I'm going to cross that off. I don't want to change that. I am going to move forward. No, I just did that and that's actually technically backwards, but I'm going to move forward and I'm going to not, yes, of course it's going to come on your mind. And yes, of course you're going to have emotional reactions because it's hard to let go of things and of people that you have in your life and stuff like that. But you're going to understand that if you're not wanting or willing to change because this has just happened so often or because, you and your friend have just gotten, this is just so many times that we got in the same fight over and over again. It's okay. You have to be okay with that decision. And you know what? A week from now, a month from now, you get to change that decision too. You get to say, you know what? I just want to reach out to that person and say, listen, I get it. This happened. We said things that, probably both of us didn't expect the other person to say. I can't change what you've said, and I can't change how it went, but what I can do is apologize for my actions. I'm not asking for this to be continued. I need the time to be able to process this, and now I'm apologizing. No need to respond or whatever. However that goes out. You get to change your mind again a month from now, 6 months from now, a year from now. But again, it's all about you having to put it all out there. Put whatever's on your mind, you have to clear it out because there might be things on there you had no idea were there. You might have things on there that you're like, "What? How did that come out?" And not only that, but when it comes out, you have a body reaction to that. So that was in your subconscious for a long, long time. And now it has created a reaction in your emotions, which is the next episode, which will be on Wednesday, July 19th at 10 a.m. EDT, is going to be about the emotional clutter. And what are we doing with that? How do we know that that's what it is? And what are some things, just like with the mental clutter, that I can do or you can do to clear it out or to put attention to it so that you can work through it? So I'm going to leave you with that for today. Again, I kid you not, there are so many prompts you can do online. Just Google mind dump prompts. Like I said, I was going to do one, but I'm like, there's just so many that you can do. I probably actually have one from like years ago that I've used for myself and stuff like that. But um, if I find it, and I'm switching computers and stuff like that. So if I find it in all that chaos that I've got to go through, um, I'll put it down in the Breakthrough Show Network. There under this particular video, if I find it, I will put it in comments. So you'll see me commenting as Heather, or actually, yeah, Heather Clark or Declutter for Change, and I'll put the link to it underneath that as a comment if I find it throughout the chaos of switching computers and stuff like that. Because I know I did one many, many years ago. But yeah, again, just go Google mind dump prompts and you will find stuff. And like it gives you prompts from like whether it's your family, whether it's your friends, whether it's your work, whether it's this, and it just gives you like different like broad categories and then gives you extra like little, you know, what do I need to do today? Or what do I need to do in the house? What house projects do I need to do? What work projects do I still have undone? What's coming up? Like all those kind of prompts. So it actually gives you ideas to actually get everything out of your head of what needs to be done. If you have a due date coming up, if you have this coming up, if you have a wedding to come up, if you have all that, like anything that you can think of, these prompts usually like have you, and then as you write things down, more stuff comes out. So yeah, and then just like cross out anything you can't change, because again, you can't change it. When you can't change something, you just can't, and it's okay. It has happened. It is done. It is in the past. We need to start understanding. We need to leave those things in the past. And we're not going to be able to do that if we don't put light to it. So that's why, putting this mind dump, crossing off the things you can't change, is putting light to the fact of, no, I can't change that. So when it comes up again tomorrow or next week or whatever, and you look down and you're like, oh, I already decided I couldn't change that. Then, okay, cool. You're putting light to that. And then eventually that thought goes away. And eventually you don't have the body reaction. And eventually, or you get to the bottom of what it was that caused that body reaction. Oh, it's because of XYZ. Well, let me figure out a way to clear out X, Y, and Z. And once that gets cleared out, your body will react differently next time. Maybe not right away, but over time, it will. And this is why I say do the 24-hour to 40-hour stuff that you can change. And then after that, schedule out those things that you said you can change, but you needed a little more time to do so, like losing the weight. You're not going to do that within 24 to 48 hours in a healthy way. You can starve yourself for that time and lose the water weight. But in a healthy way, you want to lose weight or you want to gain more muscle, that's going to take time, but you want to put that in your schedule and you want to make sure that you have that and you stick to yourself, because the only person that you're going to really, and if you need an accountability too, that's the other thing. If you need accountability, get somebody to be your accountability partner, because I find that I will let myself down way more often than if I was to have somebody else rely on me to get whatever it is done. So accountability partner is also a huge one as well. And then at the end of it, understand and highlight or like like put a little star beside those thoughts that come out that you literally have that body reaction to. And like I said, whether it's the crying, whether it's the stomach, whether it's the like, you just feel your breathing changes, put a little star beside those and then come back to those later. Take that big break that you need and come back to those later and go, what could have caused that? What childhood, like I said, 9 times out of 10, don't quote me on that, 90% thing, but chances are it's something that happened when you were younger. And you want to look into those things. And you want to look into maybe that's how you saw somebody else dealing with the same situation. And that's how you dealt with it. But it felt weird in your body because you knew that that wasn't the right way to do it for you. Maybe it was for them and that's how they dealt with it then. And they, don't want to, whatever. But for you moving forward, that's not how you want to say it to your child or your partner. So you can change those things and you can sit down with that person in the next 24 to 48 hours, especially if it's a child. Like I said, if it's a child that you said something to or whatever, do it within 24 hours because that child, first of all, is going to absorb it as their own emotion. But you want to make sure that they understand that it's okay for you to come back and to apologize or to come back and talk about these things so that you can clear the air for all parties involved. Because then that helps them growing up understanding that, yeah, we're human. We make mistakes. But we take accountability for our actions and then we do something about them. That makes a huge difference in their lives. And you've just probably, chances are, broken that cycle. Because A, you're putting light to it. B, you're changing how you would have reacted as the adult. And C, it allows the child to express themselves without you overreacting because you were emotionally attached to this thing. Now you're like, okay, cool. I know this. I know I reacted to this emotionally, but now I can see it logically and go, yeah, that made no sense why I did that. I apologize. I think I didn't eat that day. And it shows them that they can look at something and go, did I eat? Did I sleep properly? Did I do this? Like there's so many factors that can cause those outbursts, and showing the younger children or showing children period or teens or anything, or showing even your partner and stuff like just knowing that these are the things I realized I didn't eat that day. I got upset because my body was reacting and yeah, I apologize. I'm going to try and do better next time. Will you not eat again and react again? Probably, maybe. But at least that person can be like, "Hey, did you eat today?" "Oh, no, I didn't." "Okay, cool. You know what? Sorry. I apologize." You know what? I mean, it downgrades what happens in the moment as well. So, all right, I'm going to leave you guys with that. Again, like I said, the next show is about the emotional clutter and how to clear that out. And that is on Wednesday, July 19th at 10 a.m. EDT. I will talk to you guys later and enjoy your day.